What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Michael here. And so last week at San Diego Comic Con, there was a panel that I was able to watch on YouTube. And something that they were talking about that I didn't even know was they were celebrating the 30th anniversary of Gundam Wing. So I thought we'd talk about it. Now, if you don't know, Gundam Wing, if I'm correct, premiered March 6th of 2000. It was one of the very first Gundam shows, if not the first Gundam show, if not the Gundam show that brought Gundam to the West, right? So I thought we would take some time and we'd go in and talk about Gundam Wing. We'd talk about the story. We'd talk about the pilots. We'd talk about the Gundams. And most importantly, we'd talk about the impact that Gundam Wing has had over 30 years in not only the anime universe, but also in the West, right? So let's get into it. Also, I request that you stay tuned to the end of the video. I have a little bit of announcement, but for now, let's get into it. So, as I mentioned, Gundam Wing came out in the early 2000s, or I should say it came over here in America in the early 2000s. It premiered on Toonami, and I want to say it was like, besides Dragon Ball Z, which was on at the time, and besides Sailor Moon, it was one of the shows that you all know that essentially opened that gateway for the Western media to experience the art form or experience the storytelling of anime. Excuse me. So Gundam Wing revolves around these five pilots, okay? Hiro Yui, Duo Maxwell, Katra Rababa Winner, Troa Barton, Chang Wu Fei. And if you want to throw it in there, we'll throw a sixth Gundam pilot, even though he wasn't a Gundam pilot. Well, I guess he was. We'll throw Zex Marquise, the Lightning Baron, in there. Why not? Okay? But anyway, it revolves around these pilots. Okay? And what it talks about, the story-wise, is that the Earth Sphere Alliance is basically ruling the colonies which are up in space, right? And they're using oppression and everything like that. The leader of the space colonies, Hiro Yui, was assassinated, believed by the colonies to be the Earth Sphere Alliance. Okay? And in retaliation, the colonies decide that they want to start a war. It's like, okay, you basically, you killed our guy, you assassinated our leader, who was only trying to establish peace between Earth and the colonies, and it's clear, you don't want that. Tensions are running high, so we're gonna rebel. So we're gonna rebel here, and we're gonna do something drastic. Okay. So they launch what is known as Operation Meteor. Operation Meteor is launching from separate colonies 5 Gundams to go to Earth to essentially destroy military installations for the Earth Sphere Alliance, right? Hoping that this will be enough to kind of tell the Earth Sphere Alliance, like, hey, we don't want your military up here in space. We want to be independent. It's kind of like, in its own way, it's kind of like the Revolutionary War, right? Right? Okay. You with me so far? So, while this Operation Meteor is taking place, it is here where we meet our 5 Gundam pilots. The first one we meet is Hiro Yui. It is also here where we meet Vice Minister Dorland, and we also meet his daughter, Relena. Now, pay attention to that name, Relena Dorland. Now, well, I guess I can talk about Relena. Relena Dorland is not actually her real name. Her real name is Relena Peacecraft. She is the daughter of King Peacecraft, who the royal family of the Peacecraft of the Saint Kingdom, right? And the Saint Kingdom was a kingdom of total pacifism. They didn't get into wars, they tried not to get into conflicts, and for most importantly, above all else, they tried negotiations instead of actually saying, yeah, okay, we're going to go blow the living crap out of you. Okay? However, the Earth Sphere Alliance and a secret organization within the Earth Sphere Alliance known as Oz didn't take too kindly to that. And basically, the Saint Kingdom was wiped out. The royal family was all but assassinated and killed, save for 2 children, save for Relena Peacecraft and her brother, Miliardo Peacecraft, who we would later come to be known as Zex Marquise, the Lightning Baron. Now, here's the thing. If you start to notice some similarities within this series, it should be known to say that it's kind of similar to the original Mobile Suit Gundam. Char Osnabald, as you know, was part of the Zabi family, right? Of Zeon Daikun, who was assassinated. And it's only, or was he? No, I'm sorry. I screwed that up. I screwed up my Gundam lore. The Zabi family was the one who assassinated Zeon Daikun, and the family that Char was a part of. In order to take revenge on the Zabi family, Char basically joins up with Zeon military. He becomes, pretty high up in the rankings. He's known as the Red Comet. Okay, so all right? If there are any Gundam fans out there, you know about Char, you know his history, you know the whole deal, right? Well, Zex Marquise is the same thing. And I know that I'm going from character to character here, but bear with me here because they're all connected. Each one of their story connects in some unique way. Okay? So to backtrack, so to speak, right? I mentioned Relena and I mentioned Hiro. Okay? Relena meets Hiro when her father is coming back from a negotiation mission from the colonies back down to Earth. Her father and her are witnessing Operation Meteor in real time. They witness Hiroyui, the Gundam pilot, descending to Earth to begin Operation Meteor, right? And it is here when she witnesses Hiro's spacecraft transform into a Gundam. So she witnesses a Gundam for the very first time. During this mission, ultimately, we find out that the Earthsphere Alliance, or Oz, if you wish to say, finds out about the secret mission and tries to intercept. This is where Zex Marquise comes in. Zex Marquise sends out a couple of pilots, including himself, to try to stop this unknown aircraft. Zex immediately figures out that this craft is made of Gundanium and instantly realizes that this is no ordinary mobile suit. This is a Gundam. In an attempt to keep his mission a secret, Hiro transforms into 01 Gundam. And that's what I'm going to call him because it's not Wing Zero just yet. This is just your standard 01 Gundam. Okay? So, after battling with Zex and his crew for a little bit, Hiro plunges the Gundam down into the ocean and essentially says, okay, this is it. I've been discovered. I've got to basically now I can't use the Gundam. My mission's over. Dot. Like I'm done. Right? Right? Like I failed. It is here when he washes up on the shore that in front of a spaceport that Relena finds him. Okay? Now I'm not gonna go into the whole retrospective and the whole series of Gundam Wing, right? I'm just trying to give you an overview of what this is about. That all the Gundam pilots are on a mission to destroy Oz forces, while Oz has its own secret agenda. Oz's agenda is to completely eradicate the Earth Sphere Alliance. It's also worth noting that Oz is being, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, uh, what do they call it? Um, I guess you want to say backed or funded. That's what it is. Funded by an organization known as the Rockefeller Foundation, right? This Rockefeller Foundation is a bunch of high-ranking nobles who essentially want to take over the world and treat the world like a monarchy, right? Essentially, dare I say, back in the day, they were like the British Army, okay? And, they wanted to colonize and make everybody like, oh, yeah, you're going to live under our, you're going to live under our terms and everything like that, right? So, after eradicating the Earth Sphere Alliance, basically what happens is I know what I said. Basically, Oz tries to take over. They take over Earth, and then they try to go for the colonies. But instead of using military force in the colonies, they try to use negotiation tactics to basically say, hey, we were once part of the Earth Sphere Alliance. We were once a military force, but now we're not. We're literally trying to clean up our act. We're trying to be the good guys. We're trying to help you out. And while doing this, they're having the colonies create military weapons known as mobile dolls to not only control outer space, but to also control Earth, right? Meanwhile, back on Earth, Relena, growing up now, she has reestablished the Sanct Kingdom and the ideals of total pacifism. Rockefeller doesn't like the idea because now all the nations of the world that were once on board with Oz, now they're going towards total pacifism, and they're like, yeah, we don't want war anymore. We don't need mobile suits and all this stuff, which this, basically cuts into Oz's ideals, right? Oz won't stand for it. And so there's a lot of political moves and backwater and undercover stuff that's going on, a lot of military stuff. Gundam as a whole entire series, not just Gundam Wing, but Gundam itself is very good for showing not only action with piloting giant robots and having epic space battles, but they're also good at showing behind the scenes politics and shifts in power and people trying to gain power and so on and so forth, right? So with that being said, last week, because I saw this um, panel at San Diego Comic-Con, I was watching it on YouTube. I didn't have the privilege to go to San Diego Comic-Con, but watching that, I was reminded of how good Gundam Wing is. And I was listening to the crowd, and I was listening to all of the fans that still remember watching Gundam Wing back in the day, and how much of an impact it really had on essentially all of us. If you are a longtime anime fan, you do remember when Toonami would have Gundam Wing. And then, of course, after that, they did the Gundam Wing Endless Waltz movie, right? What was cool about this panel is they had 3 of the pilots. So they had Hiroyui's voice actor, his English dub voice actor. They had Duo Maxwell's English voice actor, and they also had Katra's English voice actor. And something that you may know about Katra is that Katra's English voice actor was um, also Light in Death Note, Setsuna FCA from Mobile Suit Gundam 00. He also did Amuro from the original Mobile Suit Gundam. He also did Harry Champ from Zoids New Century. So he's done a lot of roles, and as well as the voice of Duo Maxwell from Gundam Wing. He's done Piccolo from the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z, and he's done a lot of other voices and stuff. Zex Marquis' voice actor, everybody should know. He was Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z Ocean dub. He was Ryuk from Death Note. He was, let's see, he was Jack Sisko from Zoid's New Century Zero, and he's done a lot of other things. And so a lot of the cast of English dub did a lot of different other work from anime that you may know, right? For instance, the voice of Trace Kushranada. He is also the voice of one of my favorite anime characters, Sashomaru from Inuyasha, as well as doing Megatron from Beast Wars. So, just a little history there. But it's so fascinating to know that Gundam Wing has survived for 30 years, and it is one of the anime that really brought the culture, the storytelling of anime to the West. Now, granted, I'll say this, uh, Robotech, Voltron, Vampire Hunter D were the ones to bring anime over here, but you have to understand that back then, um, and even I'll say Akira. I think Akira, the film, was one of the first instances of where people knew, like, hey, this isn't American artwork. This is something different. But you have to remember too that back then a lot of people just thought it was animation or just regular cartoons from Japan, right? And I maintain this stance, and I'll be happy to be proven wrong, but I don't think that I am. Is that Toonami was the gateway, and so yes, Toonami had Voltron. Yes, Toonami had Robotech and stuff like that, and G Force and all that stuff. But it wasn't until Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Mobile Suit Gundam, the original, um, Outlaw Star, and so on and so forth, that anime really found its place here in the West. And once that happened, more people wanted to know more about this art form. And so people were out searching and looking. And then, of course, people were still watching Toonami. And in the 2010s, after, a couple years after Toonami went off the air, it was like people went on the internet and were like, like anime was just, blew up, right? So, but it's really fascinating to celebrate Gundam Wing. And so last week, what I did was I binged all 49 episodes of Gundam Wing, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And it brought me back to a time of just sitting down, watching anime, and not essentially not giving a crap about what's going on in the rest of the world. You wanted to see the next episode. You had to see the next episode of Gundam Wing. How were the Gundam pilots going to get out of the situation they were in, right? How was Relina going to figure her way of being a leader? How was Zex going to, um, uh, uh, um, how do you say, uh, how was he going to, maintain balance between being a soldier and between being his Milliardo Peacecraft self, which is being total pacifism, right? And stuff like that. And really, in the end, spoiler alert, he doesn't. It doesn't really work, right? And it's up to Hiro and the Gundams and everybody to try to stop him from going nuts and trying to destroy the Earth. But all in all, Gundam Wing. Um, Look, Gundam Mercury was one of my favorite Gundam shows. Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. Everybody loves Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. Of course, there's Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Can't say enough about that. But one of the greatest, and I can't say if not the greatest, but one of the greatest Gundam series to come out was Gundam Wing. And I'm glad to see that it is still loved by the fans today, 30 years later. So, anyway, guys, if you stayed to the end of this video, thank you very much. So, here comes the announcement. For the month of August, guys, I'm going to go on a little bit of a break. To be fair, I got a lot of stuff going on right now in my National Federation of the Blind Phoenix chapter. We got a lot of things going on right now, so I'm gonna be on a little bit of a hiatus. I will try to get some videos out for you in the month of August, just to keep the algorithm happy and to keep you guys satisfied, because I love keeping the dojo good and kosher and stuff like that. What else? Oh, yeah, and we'll be back in September for sure. I will definitely be back in September, and also too, guys, is I'm just a little bit burnt out, so I want to take some time for myself and uh, catch up on some anime that I've been missing, and just try to have some fun. So and just try to chill. So, all right, so. I'll try to get some shorts out for you guys, but at least for right now, I'm going to go on a little bit of a break. So I thank you so much for checking out the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. YouTube is being a little crazy. Please hit that notification bell so you know when I make another video or short. Leave a comment down below. Give me your best memories of Gundam Wing. And let me know if you've even seen Gundam Wing. And let me know your thoughts. Yeah? Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Remember, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go make it an anime day. I will see you when I return. And to end this, I'll just say 30 years of Gundam Wing. Mission accepted. Suit up.